We need some ventilation in this shop, so gotta try to find a way to ventilate this thing. Where I tend to do most of my work here anyway, when I'm indoors, is in this little section of the basement. And you can see it's a pretty good sized basement filled with your standard storage junk, whatever. Utilities and mechanicals down here, washer, dryer, whatnot. But this one section, this one end of the basement is, I built a wall there to sort of contain the dust and dirt and whatever from any type of woodworking, metalworking, anything that's happening. So when I do any grinding, sanding, whatever work in here, welding, which you're probably not supposed to do in a basement anyway, but you do anything like that, or cut, even for that matter, sawdust. If you're doing a little big table saw cut or something, you get a lot of sawdust. It gets pretty thick in here. And I try to keep the doors closed when I do that stuff. I usually forget, but I do try to keep them closed because, everything we've got for storage in the rest of the basement kind of gets covered in whatever filth. And it's amazing, especially grinding metal with a grinder, like a flap disc or something. It's amazing how much dust, like black crap, gets all over everything. So anyway, I'm going to try to ventilate, and this is the solution down here. There is just no air at all in here. There's no windows, no basement windows down here. There are 4 basement windows in this basement, and they're all down in the other part here. So this is my closest window, and it's about, I forget, I measured this. I think it's 12 or 14 feet from the wall of the shop right there. And so I'm going to take one pane of this window out, and this vent's actually underneath a little deck. We had to build a deck over it. So there's no light or anything comes through there anyway, and we never opened the window, so there's really no purpose to having a window there. So I'm going to use that up. I'm going to take one side of it out, and I'm going to put a vent out through there. And I've got some flexible tubing, or 8-inch flexible non-insulated aluminum. I guess it would be AC ducting. I don't know. And I'm going to run that along the ceiling here, cut a hole in that wall down there. That'll get it into the shop. And I'll bring you over here, and I'm going to run it. These are all air conditioning ducts, pretty poorly done too, but I didn't run that. And that will bring it in through this wall right here where those paintbrushes are hanging. And then I'm going to go up over the AC, and I'm going to mount a fan somewhere in the ceiling up here and a blower. And then I'm going to have a semi-rigid aluminum duct, perhaps with some kind of supports, brackets. I don't know how that'll work. That comes down to sort of this table where I do a lot of the dirty work. And it hopefully will flex over here to grinding and other things that I do here. And then maybe even get over this far in case I'm doing any work here. So I'm hoping it'll be able to swing and cover a lot of territory. So that's what I'm working on. This here is the fan that I bought. This is from another horrible freight purchase, although I gotta say this one feels pretty heavy duty, so we'll see. It moves a lot of air. It says on high it moves, I don't have my glasses on, what's that, 1590 cubic feet per minute, and 1380 on low. I did plug it in, and it moves some air, there's no doubt about that. So that's the fan I'm going to use. I'll have to somehow mount that to the ceiling. And then I've got this stuff here, which is the flexible. This is 25 feet of flexible. It's got a plastic lining on the outside, but it's aluminum on the inside, and it flexes and moves whatever, and it's 8-inch. And so the goal is to mount something to this fan. I've got to make some brackets of some kind that will affix to this fan, because the fan is actually like 9 and change. They've got this rolled edge on the fan, and it's like 9 and change, so this ducting won't go over it. But there's some pretty handy little, sorry about the bump. There's some pretty handy little brackets. This screen will come out, and it's just held in with these little brackets, and there's screws here. So I think I can screw I'm gonna take a piece of sheet metal, cut a strip of sheet metal and wrap it in a circle and screw it in there. And then I think the ducting will slide over that. And I'll just, hose clamp it on. I got these clamps came with this ducting as well. And then perhaps some tape. So that's the plan. All right, so step one is to cut a piece of sheet metal. I'm going to cut a strip of this. This is 22 gauge sheet metal, which is definitely thicker than I need for this application, but I have a lot of it. So I'm going to use it. I don't have anything thinner. I'm not going to go buy something. And I have, in fact, I have an entire 4x8 sheet plus several small pieces like this. So what I'm going to do is cut a strip here 4 inches wide and then see if I can't roll that into a circle, maybe rivet it together to make it, to hold it into a circle and then get it mounted to the fan. So let's give that a shot. That's the first time I've ever used that, really used this pneumatic shear, air shear. God, it's a little frightening actually. It's so damn loud and I don't know, it scares me a little. Listen to this. I probably have the PSI too high anyway, I think. But anyway, it works great. It gets right through this stuff, but I'll tell you, it's a rough cut. I mean, actually, I think I got a fairly straight line, but man, it bends it all up and it's very hard to hold it straight. I suppose I could set up some kind of guide, but it's a little bit wavy. But nonetheless, for the purpose of, I wouldn't want to do any auto body work with it maybe, but for the purpose of what I need, that's going to work. I now have a strip that is roughly 4 inches wide, and I'm going to turn that into a circle. All right, I got this bent roughly into a circle, but rough being the key word, and very hard to hold it in a circle and try to figure out what size it is. So I think I just decided I'm going to draw a circle. I thought about cutting a wooden circle out of a piece of wood and then wrapping it around that, which probably is a good idea. But I think I'm just going to draw one first on this paper here on the table and just see if I can eyeball it. This doesn't have to be that close. The inside of this fan it's actually a little under 8. It's like 7 7/8, something like that. So this has to be just under that. So this is an 8-inch circle I just drew. I just drew, and it measures 8 1/8. Figures. So we're gonna be a little smaller than that. It is just over 8. I don't know why. Anyway, so if I get this circle in there, and that's a little small now, so I can start to blow this out a little bit and let it out. It doesn't stay in a circle very well. Kind of more of an oval, an egg, especially where it overlaps, but it's okay. Be pretty close. And then, of course I can measure it some, but it's not round. So that's 7 7/8 right there, which is perfect. That's 7 3/4, but it is bent flat. It's flat a little bit on this side where I've got it clamped. It's more round down here. So I think when that spreads out, that's pretty well on point. And I gotta figure out how to square this side up and hold it. But I want to see, I think if I put that in there, that will, I think I can get that in there. That goes in the end of the frame. So that's pretty good. Now, I'm gonna leave that just like that. And I'm gonna mark with a Sharpie, which I have here somewhere. Where that should be. It should be roughly right there. Take it out. And there's one more clamp to put on there. And then I'm going to drill a hole in it. And good, got my glove. Nice. Okay. Here we go. like I said, I have popped a few rivets before, but clearly I don't know what I'm doing because that one is stuck. There we go. Did it work? Seems to be held up on the back side. I don't know. Let's see. One. That's holding. Wow, that's pretty good. It is a little out of round, as I said. I can solve that. Oh shit, we're a little too big. No. Shh, fucking glove. All right, that piece is done. So we got, I don't know if you can see in there. Maybe if I hold it up this way. We got the grill mounted back in there. And basically what we have is we just took the grill out, put it inside of this new tube that I've made, screwed through the new tube into this. And then there's brackets in there that hold this, this grill on the back side of that. So really all we did was add this. There it is. Both ends done. Yeah, this is the fitting that's going to go in the window. I've been working on this off camera here a little bit because a lot of time. And what I need to do is get a frame that'll go in the window that I can close with some kind of slider or something that the 8-inch ventilation tube will hook up to be able to blow through, but I can close it. And so there's a lot better ways to do this than what I've come up with, I think. But and I'm just doing this with scrap wood and stuff just to try it and see how it works. I actually think it will work fine for some period of time, but I'll probably the weather eventually will get to this. This is this window where this vent is going to be is underneath a deck, which is under a roof. So there's not a lot of moisture there. I mean, it's not pouring rain on this thing all the time, but it is an outdoor window right at ground level. It's in a window well. And so there's just a lot of moisture, and I think this is going to swell and rot pretty quickly. But, you know, if it lasts a couple of years, that'd be fine by me for now, and then I'll come up with something better. So what we have here is, picture this being in the window, and the vent tube is going to hook up to this, and outside is over on this side over here. So the vent tube hooks up here to blow out through there, and this is the top, this is the bottom as it shows. And then what I'm going to have is this slider here put in here. So this is all flush, and then on top of that will go this piece, which will be the exterior. So picture this being outside, and when I slide it open, I can turn on the vent and blow air, and when I close it, it'll keep some of the weather out. The next step, as I was saying, I'm going to start working on a round metal flange to accept the flexible ventilation pipe, and have it so that it can mount to this hole and have the pipe mount over the metal. So I'm going to start working on that next. We're going to have kind of like a dryer vent or a bathroom vent that you see out on the outside of a house. This is a template, but something like this that just covers it again for any moisture that comes down through that deck. There'll be something to keep it blowing down towards the ground. So I made this template because I'm going to cut that out of steel, and I think I can bend it with my new metal brake, which I made recently. So I can cut this shape out and then bend these sides down, bend these flanges up for nailing flanges. I don't know, never done anything like that. That could be kind of interesting. All right, so now we've got our fan vent cover, and we're going to try to bend this. You know what I just realized, Andy? We've got to cut the rest of these off to get past. Please hold. We've got to continue this line here. Please hold color. Gonna do another line. Have to cut that off. I'm gonna cut this one off. This bending metal thing takes a lot of ciphering, Annie. Don't you think? A lot of ciphering. Okay, we're gonna cut this. Nailing flange would be too long. I didn't. Careful, sharp. Alright, now we're gonna cut this one. Alright, let me just hammer that down now. Let's hammer it. Hammer time. Hammer time, man. So we don't gouge ourselves too badly. Okay, here we go. First bend on the... This is the first real bend, other than just a couple test bends. This is the first one. All right, crank it down, Annie. This is the first real bend on the new metal brake that we built. Annie helped with this one too, right? Right there, aren't we? That's okay. Hold on, Annie. We got some shenanigans going on here. Yep, crank it down. Okay.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. And I got this one.
Do it.
All right, we want to go to
90?
Yeah, 90. Okay. Okay. A little more.
That's pretty much 90. That's like perfect. Don't go too far.
Okay. Let's see, we got it. Let's see. Let's open it up. Nailing flange number 1. It's pretty good. We're gonna have to bend this second bend manually over a block or something because we can't get that in there to bend it. It would be this way anyway. But there's no way for us to do that. That's okay.
Could you like...
We'll just bend what we can.
Okay.
Alright, let's do this next one. Crank it down, Annie. Crank it down. Send it.
Got it.
Got a good night? Okay. Alright, let's do it. Nice and easy. How's that? Probably pretty good. Alright, let's see how it looks. Woo-wee! Too real. Chromed out wheels.
Don't need a windshield.
That's right. Alright, now we can't bend this one the whole way because of those sticking out, but we can bend it enough to crease it so that it'll be easier to finish. Alright, now, you got that down?
Yep.
Alright, let's send it. Send it while we bend it. Okay, I think that's probably
As far as we can go.
all we can do. Oh, we just cut our paint. We cut the orange. It's alright, it's gonna get dimmed up. Okay. Actually, we got pretty close, so we can hammer that down the rest of the way. not bad. All right, those bends are good. Clearly, this kind of a brake has a limitation, not being able to do like multiple compound bends. But we're gonna flap these down by hand, so we'll do that on our own here somehow. There it is. That's a homemade enlarged vent cover, kind of like everybody's probably got on their dryers outside their house or their bathroom fans or whatever, exhaust fans. But this is a big one. This measures 10 inches across here. I think it's actually, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Could only use the brake on the nailing flanges here. And this, I just had this giant block of steel, which is really heavy. It's got a rough but somewhat sharp edge on it. And I just clamped a board down on top of the metal on top of that and kind of hammered and bent and pulled and tugged and whatever needed to be done. So now if you can picture, this is the exhaust fan outside in the outside window, and the air would be coming out of that, and we can mount this over the hole to shield the hole from rain, weather, whatever. And it's still got a big area there. Yeah, so I think that's gonna work. Pretty happy with the way that came out. And on to the next piece. Put a little spray can on there, some paint that I had lying around. Happens to be metallic color, which works out just fine for this. And now we're gonna let that dry. Just this piece is of course gonna be outside the window, so I'm hoping this just keeps it from rusting a little bit, at least for a while. Yeah, that's been quite an effort, but in pretty good shape now. So this is the window insert. It's kind of beat up because I like to give paint at least 10 minutes to dry before I start working on it. So I'm always in a rush. Never have enough time. So that's the outside. That'll be on the outside of the window. Underneath the deck, you can see you've got some screen in there to keep critters out. And then around to the inside is the attachment for the pipe to go onto. And then here, I'll try to show you. Here we've got the slider. I don't know if you can see this, but take this slider out, and that opens the vent. So then you can see right through. And it's got a pretty tight seal. I mean, I'm trying to keep some weather out with this, which is why I used thicker wood. There's a little bit of an R value there at least. And hopefully not too much breeze will blow through around here. I don't think there will be too much. And I can always caulk and spray foam and insulate whatever I need to around it. So that's the way open it. When I need to turn on the vent, I can leave this open and let it vent, and then close it up when I'm done and seal out the elements. So that's where we are. All right, window unit is roughly in. It is, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna fix it in here exactly. But if I open it, ooh, it's cold outside tonight. Cold air. You can feel that, so I can close it off. It works good. And then if you look down here, can't turn my light that way, but there's a new hole at the end of the wall here. Cut that hole, trimmed it out with some duct tape because the flexible pipe that goes through there is pretty thin, pretty fragile. So I didn't want it to rip on the rough edge of the plywood. So hopefully that'll work. Time to run that pipe. There it is, all mounted up. Got the exhaust line running over the AC line, so it's not in too much of the way in the shop. This AC mess is kind of in the way anyway. And then the semi-rigid downspout, and that's flexible. I can move this wherever I need to. You know, if I want to put it away, I can put it away up against the ceiling, or I can leave it down here. Got to figure out some better way to attach it here because it's a little loose, but I think this is going to work pretty well. And if you come over here, there is the line, runs out through the wall, and let's go one more over here. There we go, through the wall and out the window. And we're going to give this a test run right now. Let's see how it does. That opens pretty hard, but I wanted that to be a tight fit. So that's open. And now let's fire it up. All right, ready, Annie? We're going to test out the new ventilation system. Here we go. First try. I haven't done this yet. I'm getting some suction right there, so I'll probably tape that up. That's on low. Too loud, a little bit of noise, but then we crank it up to high.
It's not even blowing anymore.
No, it's going out. All right, now here's the real test. If we were painting over here, or you stand back a little bit. If we were painting over here, or welding, or doing something that made noise, we'd have smoke, and fumes, and whatever. So we're gonna make some smoke. See, is the smoke going where it's supposed to?
Yeah, it is.
Mostly.